You are destined for failure if you pick the wrong service on Upwork. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the best services, I'm going to be ranking them, and I'm going to be giving you the best profiles for each of those services so you can just go ahead and copy them. Now I'm going to be ranking these into 4 different categories. The first is how much you can charge. The second is how difficult they are to learn. The third is the sustainability of these. So how long will these last? Are they still working in 2025? And lastly, how much competition is there as well? So we're going to be ranking them in 4 different ways. The first one that I want to talk about is automation. Now, this has been something that's been around for a long time. So in terms of sustainability, it's going to be there. It is a little bit competitive. And basically what you're doing is you're building automations, typically for business owners, and sometimes even things like personal brands and even local businesses. So think, building an automation to push somebody to a lead magnet, or running an automation so that every time a new lead comes in, it goes into a Google Sheet and then it updates in Slack. Think automations like that. And now with automation and the rise of AI, most automations need to have AI built in. So it's becoming a more and more important skill and service that you can offer on Upwork. Now, if you go on Upwork, there's a bunch of people making a bunch of money for automation. Most people are charging anywhere from like $50 to $70, but there's a bunch of people on there that are charging over $450. And I'll actually link some of those profiles in the description of this video. Because ultimately, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's best to just copy the best profiles. In the same way that people copy the best content so they can go viral, you should just copy the best profiles because they already have found a winning formula and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's what I do, it's what my students do, and it actually works. Now, in terms of difficulty to learn, it's actually not that difficult to learn how to do automations, especially because you have tools like make.com, Zapier, and obviously with AI, it makes it even easier. You can literally just ChatGPT how to build it through make.com. And obviously it's very knowledgeable about all of these softwares. So in terms of difficulty to learn, I would honestly say maybe like low to medium. And there's a lot of like pre-built funnels and pre-built automations that you can just get from people's school groups. There's a bunch of YouTubers that do it. I've even installed a few of those for my own business and it actually works pretty well. And in terms of sustainability, I have to rank it high because businesses, people will always need automation. They'll always need to save time. Ultimately, what you do as an automation expert, whether it be with AI or just regular automation, is save people time. The same reason that people value Uber and the same reason people value like Grab, for example, here in Thailand, which is like Uber Eats. It just saves you time. It's convenient. And, people will always pay for stuff like that. And as mentioned, I'm going to save you a bunch of time and I'm going to send you the best profiles. It's literally in the description of my YouTube video. I don't put it behind some like paywall or like, hey, give me your email address. It's literally right there. You can just go and find the best profiles and then just copy them. Now, the next service we should rank is video editing. And I really want to talk about this one because it's one of the easiest ones to get started with. I probably don't need to provide a description on what video editing is, but basically you're editing videos like this video, for example, short form videos, or even long podcasts and, long form pieces of content. Now, the cool thing is the range on how much you can charge with this is quite random. Like you can charge as little as like $15 per video, all the way up to like a couple $100 and even more potentially if it's like really long form pieces of content. We live in an attention economy and videos at the moment are kind of the best way to get people's attention. Like for example, I'm making this video for you. You might like the shit I talk about. And then from there, we might end up working together. It all is like a sustaining little economy that works really, really well. And the cool thing is as a video editor, you can get in at the bottom and work your way up to the top. And pretty much anybody can land video editing jobs. Like I recently took a student from 0 to 3K per month and we did social media management and video editing. Super easy. You can learn it on YouTube. It's not difficult. I even used to edit my own videos. It's super easy to learn. So if we want to rank, ease of learning, I would put it at an all-time low. It's very easy. There's even a bunch of clipping groups where if you are good at clipping videos up and like making good content, you can get paid a lot of money. Like there's some people out there that are making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a week just clipping videos for YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. And you can find these in like school communities. You can find these in like WOP communities and so on. And there's a lot of money to be made for that, to be honest. I also like with video editing, you have a built-in lead magnet for when you're trying to sell to people. So for other services, sometimes it's hard to put across that you're good at the stuff that you say you can do. But with video editing, if you want to land a big client, you can just send them videos and it's kind of like proof of work. And especially if you do it for free, like I've had people do that for me, and I always want to work with them because it's like, wow, they've went out of their way to do this. So there's like a little tip for you if you want to get your first client. Now, in terms of competition, it is pretty high. There are a lot of people, and that is also because it's easy to learn. Anything that's easy to learn is always going to have a lot of competition, but there's still so much money to go around. There's so many creatives being made. There's so many creators every single day coming out. And I mean, you got to think like the average person is probably posting short form once a day minimum, long form, maybe once to 3 times a week. So there's plenty of money. If you're charging $50 each for each of those, maybe $25 for the short form, it adds up. You can have a couple $100 to $1,000 per client, and you only need a few clients to get from like 5 to 10K per month. And then you can scale it up. You can hire some editors and so on. You can do the same with automation, like we talked about before. All of these do scale. And ultimately, you can have a scalable business in pretty much any of these services. But yeah, and again, I'm going to put the best Upwork profiles in the description for video editing, so you can check those out. But now let's move on to web development. So when I say web development, I'm going to put that in the category of like all development. So that could be things like, building no-code applications and just vibe coding, all the way to like super complex, like Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, everything that you could possibly imagine with development. This is one of the highest paid skills on Upwork by far. Even like profiles that aren't that good are able to charge anywhere from like $30 to $50. And many, many, many profiles are charging hundreds of dollars for their work. And there's a lot of agencies of developers that are on Upwork too. I myself have spent over $40,000 on developers on Upwork, and trust me, like they charge a lot and there's a lot of good talent on there. Now you might be thinking, well, development will go down over time and is it sustainable because of AI and things like that? To be honest, as of right now, most people are vibe coding, and there's a lot of value in working with a really good developer that actually knows his stuff instead of just having some guy that's like kind of randomly vibe coding. And it's hard to gauge who's actually good and who's not good. Now, in terms of learning development, it's pretty difficult, to be honest. I myself was getting up every 3 to 4 hours early every single day and learning development from like a Cambridge University course online. And it's pretty hard, like, to be honest, like as a complete beginner, maybe it's just me, I really struggled in the beginning because I wanted to have more intellectual conversations with my team when we were building applications and things like that. But yeah, damn, it's pretty difficult. But if you can get past that and you can become proficient, even just to the level of a junior developer, you can make good money, and it's pretty consistent. There's a lot of work out there for that. Not to mention you can build your own applications, your own SaaS, and make money that way too. So web development's one of those ones where as a service, it's hard to learn, but it's really valuable if you actually can do it. And again, I'm going to put the best profiles for this service in the description. And I should clarify, they're not the best profiles necessarily. It's just some profiles that I think would be good to copy based on my research. Now I'm going to give you one more service, and then I'm going to give you a bonus, which is actually more of a niche that I think you should focus on because I've seen a lot of development there. So the next service is paid traffic. Now this can be for Facebook, this can be for YouTube, this can be for TikTok, this can be for like PPC, for like Google. It doesn't really matter. Paid traffic is honestly a skill that's super valuable, and it's even something that I have a little bit of experience with that I can talk to you about. One of the things I love most about paid traffic services is that you can get benefited from the work that you actually do. Whereas many of these, like if you make a video and you're a video editor and you get somebody like 1 million views, okay, you might, you're going to get continued work, but you don't get a percentage of the sales that led to, right? Whereas with paid traffic, it's really easy to negotiate a deal where you get some sort of percentage of the ROAS, which is return on ad spend, and so on. And even myself back in the day, and I think I've even posted it on this YouTube channel before, I had a client for $4,000 a month, and a big percentage of that was coming from the ads that we were running. And they're spending a lot of money, but because we're getting good returns on their ads, we're actually getting a small percentage of that revenue, and it's very valuable. Now, this is something that has been around forever. Like this has been around for ages. You've seen the Iman Gadzis, you've seen the social media marketers. Like everybody talks about paid traffic, run a Facebook ad agency. It's kind of, at this point, people know what it is, so there's a lot of competition. But if you can have a good offer, be unique, and look, realistically speaking, there's literally millions of businesses out there. There's millions of personal brands. You can land clients. It's for any of these services, guys. Realistically speaking, there's unlimited potential clients, whether it be on Upwork, right, where there's 500,000 plus clients that have paid over $5,000, not to mention the other millions of clients that are on there every single day. There's just unlimited clients. Like, for example, with social media management, there's like 184 jobs added every single day consistently for the last like 6 years, right? There's unlimited clients. You can make money. It's not difficult. Don't constrain yourself and think, this isn't sustainable. There's too much competition. Even the worst agency in the UK still makes decent money. Even the worst profile on Upwork probably still makes a little bit of money. And to be honest, the whole point of this is just to get the ball rolling. If you're watching this video, you're trying to pick a service. So ultimately, you're probably in the beginning stages of your journey. So at this point, it's more just about picking a service, getting started, getting a few wins, and then scaling from there, just like I did. So with paid traffic, you can charge a lot. You can charge a little bit up front, but then you can also get a percentage of the revenue. In terms of that difficulty to learn, there's literally so many courses online that it's basically the easiest thing to learn ever. Now, being an expert at it is one thing, but learning the basics enough to convince people to work with you, it's not difficult. Let's put that in the kind of low to medium category. Competitivity, if that's even a word, I would say it's pretty competitive, but you can still stand out with a good offer and just being super consistent with your outreach. And then in terms of sustainability, paid traffic will always be there. It's something that adds sustainability and consistency in people's businesses. So yeah, paid traffic ain't going anywhere, to be honest. And now for the bonus that I wanted to give you, which is actually a niche and not a service. I urge you, if you haven't picked a service and you are not really sure where to get started and you're a beginner, start looking at working in blockchain. And that can mean anything, right? That could mean being a moderator for, a Telegram group in crypto. That could be, learning web development so that you can actually, or learning languages like Rust, for example, so that you can work and build projects in crypto. It doesn't matter. Blockchain as a niche is such a good niche to work in because there's exponential opportunities and just unlimited opportunities, to be honest. And it's one of the only niches that I've ever personally worked in where the money is truly exponential. You can start very small and immediately start making a lot of money. And it's all based around creativity and it has a really cool community to it. Like it's like, to be honest, the crypto industry is very toxic. And in some ways I love it. And, I just think if you've never got involved in a niche and you haven't picked a niche yet, blockchain is a really good niche to look at. Now, look, there's thousands of skills that you can pick from when working on Upwork, maybe even tens of thousands. So you should pick one that you like or that you already kind of have some skills in. If you really don't know what skill to pick and you're a complete beginner, you've never had a client before, you're just trying to get started making money online, just pick social media management. It's what I did. It's what I suggest to all my students who have, who are beginners as well. And it's the easiest to get from like 0 to like 3, 4, 5, 6K per month, maybe even 15K per month like I did. But just get your first few wins. It's all about momentum. It's all about getting your first few wins. And I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think the best skills are? Or do you think some of the skills that I said are rubbish? Let me know. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.